y'all, it's Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and check out all of my other videos. But today's video is going to be a pageant video, and we are going to be discussing, addressing, and answering controversial topics or questions in the interview room and for on-stage question. So let's get into the video. Okay, I'm gonna put my wine down now. Okay, clipboard, notes, as usual. So let's talk about why this is important. Well, one, it's just important to be able to articulate yourself and express yourself no matter the question, no matter the level of controversialness there is to the question. But for controversial topics and questions specifically, one, um, it's important to be able to have the skill of engaging in controversial topics and conversation respectfully. That's the first thing. Is there something in my hair? I don't know. Okay, anyway, distracted. Okay, what was I saying? Respectful conversation to controversial topics is very important, okay? That's number one. Number two, it's important for you as a title holder to be able to disagree or to be able to agree to disagree respectfully. It's one thing to be able to do it as a regular person, but when you're a title holder and you have a platform and you're representing an entire organization, it's important for you, especially as a public figure, to be able to agree to disagree, respectfully, right? And the third and final point is it is important that you are able to really sit down and dig deep when it comes to these controversial topics and questions so that you can figure out why you would answer the way that you would answer. Why do you feel the way that you feel about this particular topic? Is it rooted in personal experience? Is it rooted in your belief system and how you were raised? You have to be able to figure out why you feel the way that you feel. And what I find with controversial topics is a lot of girls are tripped up by them because they haven't taken the time to do their social and political research on the topic to figure out how they feel about it. Because interview and on stage question, they're basically asking you about you. They're asking you how you feel. So if you don't know enough about the topic to know how you feel, then you won't be able to answer the question, if that makes sense. So it's important that you are able to sit with these topics, no matter how uncomfortable they are, and really play out the scenarios in your head. Look at the research, look at the evidence, go to your own experience and figure out why you feel the way that you feel. So I'm going to give you a simple formula to answering these tough questions. It's a 3-part formula. It's super duper easy, and it's not about answering right or wrong. There are no right or wrong answers. It's about answering respectfully, eloquently, and with personal conviction. Okay, so let's get into these tips that I have for you on how to answer controversial questions and how to speak on controversial topics. If you compete in a system that has like a final statement where you have to do like a 30-second blurb on like a topic that they give you. So yeah, let's get into it. My first tip for you when it comes to controversial stuff in pageantry is know how you feel about the topic. I would advise you to literally take 5 minutes to jot down every controversial topic you can think of. Abortion, immigration, gun control, Black Lives Matter, Trump, like every controversial thing that you can think of. Take 5 minutes writing them down, and then take another, I would say 20 or 30 minutes going through each one and figuring out how do you feel about that topic. When that topic comes up, does it trigger something in you? Are you excited to talk about it? Like, figure out how you feel about that topic, because if you don't know how you feel, you're not going to be able to answer the questions that come at you. Do a little bit of political and social research on the topic. I know for me, a very, very touchy topic for me when controversial issues when it comes to pageantry is abortion. I've never been asked about it at a pageant, but it is just a controversial topic in general that is touchy for me because, and I'll tell you why. I I wouldn't say my school district in high school was necessarily like super duper low income, but there were definitely I definitely had peers that were low income. I actually went to school with a girl who unfortunately was raped and got pregnant as a result of that and decided to have an abortion at 15, 16, 17. Also, going to an all women's college, unfortunately, rape was an issue. I do have friends who are rape survivors. Me personally, I would like to believe that no matter the situation, that I would never abort a child. But I don't know because I haven't been in a situation where I've been faced with that choice. So it is something that is very touchy for me. I love children, but I understand the dilemmas that some women are faced in making that choice. So although I think it's something that I would not do, I would not want to take that opportunity or that choice or make that choice for another woman. So that's just an example of me kind of talking it out and expressing how I feel about it. So that is tip number one. Tip number two, and this is the big one, especially from a judge's point of view or from a peer point of view, anyone that is good at reading people honestly, be honest and do not ride the fence. If you disagree with something, disagree. If you agree with something, agree. Do it respectfully. That'll tie into my third point. But do not ride the fence. People can tell when you're just saying stuff to try to please them, and people can tell when you're avoiding the question and when you're not answering, which is a big thing in pageantry. Pageant girls and politicians are really good at not answering the question, but saying something that sounds good. So do not ride the fence. Be honest. Don't try to appease your judges or appease the audience. Say what you're going to say. Say how you feel, okay? Because at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but I would much rather lose being my authentic self, which has happened, than to win saying something or being someone that I know is not who I am and what I would say and just how I would be present in the world. Okay? So be honest, y'all. Don't ride the fence. Say how you feel because the thing is, as a woman and as a judge, I can agree to disagree with a woman who is um, disagreeing with me, but is standing her ground and is doing it respectfully, and she has a strong conviction about what she says. At the end of the day, it's not about whether the judges or anybody for that matter agrees with what you had to say. What matters most is that you presented yourself authentically and eloquently and that you stand your ground and what you believe in when it comes to these controversial topics and questions. So if you're conservative, stand firm in your conservativeness. If you're liberal, stand firm in your liberalness, okay? So don't be afraid to express your beliefs respectfully. Do not be afraid to express your beliefs, okay? It doesn't matter if you're in the middle, independent, if you're conservative, liberal, whatever. Do not be afraid to express your beliefs because they are your beliefs and what you believe is important, okay? Don't sugarcoat, don't sugarcoat yourself for nobody. Don't sugarcoat your beliefs, your answers, yourself for nobody. Say what you gotta say and be honest and respectful about it. You, okay? Sorry, y'all. Got a little carried away. That's a very passionate point for me. Okay, and the last and final thing is be respectful to opposing sides, okay? Nothing can exist without its opposite, all right? You have liberal, you have conservative, you have hot, cold, land, sea, man, woman. Nothing can exist without its opposite. And the existence of opposites is what makes the world go round, so to speak. Okay, so when you are expressing your beliefs and your opinion on something, be aware that someone is inevitably going to disagree with you. So acknowledge that, recognize that, and do so respectfully. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can give an example of this. Okay. Um. Okay, this is a perfect example. I just thought of this. I don't know if any of you guys follow The Crowning Touch on IG, Miss Jamie, but I do. You should. She posts these practice questions, and one of the practice questions that she had the other day was about the Keystone Pipeline, and the question was basically, uh, or the statement or whatever, was basically something along the lines of President Joe Biden has revoked uh, the continuation of the Keystone Pipeline, and this has cut so many billions of dollars in wages and jobs. Do you think that this is a good idea? Now, how I answered the question is I do think that it's a good idea because I think that our environment and our wildlife is something that we need to take more seriously. However, I do think that it is unfortunate that so many jobs and wages have been lost. And I hope that with the revoking of the Keystone Pipeline, that the president implements something else that will supplement those jobs and those wages that have been lost. So, in that example, I stated my opinion on it and why. I answered the question, but I also acknowledge that, unfortunately, there are people that don't have jobs and wages are being cut. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that opposing side because some people will say, hey, the environment is not that important. What's more important is our economy. So you have to recognize those opposing sides and acknowledge it gracefully and kindly, and sort of coming to a happy medium while still expressing your viewpoints. Okay. um, and even if it's a question where you could offer a solution without going over your time, you can do that as well. So yeah, y'all, that was it. Those are my 3 points. I hope this was helpful. Again, know how you feel about the topic. Stand firm and do not ride the fence. Don't try to people please because you will get seen right through. And be respectful to the opposing side. Recognize and acknowledge that there are people that may disagree with you, and do so respectfully. Because at the end of the day, confrontation and controversialness comes into play when people feel like they aren't being heard and when they feel like they're not being listened to. So when you're expressing your opinion, make sure that you acknowledge the opposing side and be like, hey, I hear you, I acknowledge you. However, respectfully, gracefully, eloquently, this is still how I feel. So, yes, that was it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video.